So I don't know why I feel the need to share this, but I'm doing my daily Bible reading, and I'm currently in First Samuel, which is actually one of my favorite chapters in the Bible, First Samuel and Second Samuel. So I am on First Samuel chapter 15, verses 24 through 31, and it says Saul pleads for forgiveness. If you're not aware of the story with Saul and David and Samuel, Saul was the first king that was elected by the people. Prior to Saul, God was their king, meaning that the people did not have like a king or a queen like other nations did. When I say the people, I'm talking about Israel. God's chosen people did not have a king or queen. They were just to worship God and, go to God for answers and things like that. Or go to the high priest, which the high priest was actually the person that would go to God for them. But anyways, basically their king, their God was, basically they didn't have no king, but they wanted to be like everybody else and decide they wanted to have a king. They wanted to have a human king just like these other nations did. So the Lord honored their request, let them have Saul, who they chose, because Saul was like tall, handsome, strong, had military strength, all this stuff. So they thought he would be perfect. Well, the thing is, at this point, Saul kept disobeying what God was telling him to do. So this was like the last straw. God told him to do something in chapter 15 that he didn't do. So in what I'm reading right now, Saul is pleading for forgiveness. So Samuel, which is the prophet / high priest, he basically was telling Saul that what he did wrong, like you disobeyed him. Because you disobeyed him, like God is basically taking away your kingdom, basically. Like he's taking away you're not going to be that dude no more. Okay, y'all, for my lack of words. So, okay, let me just read it. So, Saul admitted to Samuel. He's finally admitted, y'all, because and prior to this, he was not admitting it. He kept having excuses for why he did what he did, and he kept putting people in situations they didn't need to be put in. So at this point, finally, this last straw, I guess Saul finally realized, oh, this is for real. Like, God is not playing. So Saul admitted to Samuel, yes, I have sinned. I have disobeyed your instructions and the Lord's command, for I was afraid of the people and did what they demanded. I don't know if y'all caught that, but because Saul was afraid of the people, he did what they demanded. Don't listen to what your naysayers and even people that have good intentions for you. If it's not what God called you to do, don't do it. Follow God's instructions. I know it's not easy. I know if you have to give yourself a pep talk, just remember, come back to this 1 Samuel 15, verse 24. Don't forget what God told you to do, not what people want you to do, not what society makes you feel pressure to do, not what others may think of you if you don't do what they want you to do, not the people that you're going to lose out on, meaning the relationships that are going to walk away from you, the opportunities that are going to walk away from you just because you're not doing what they want you to do. Do what God has called you to do. That just came to me. But the reason why I'm recording this video, the reason I'm recording this is because the part in verse 27, in verse 27 through 29. Verse 27 through 29, like I said, I'm in 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 27 through 29. I'll read this. So, as Samuel turned to go, because Samuel was leaving, Saul tried to hold him back and tore the hem of his robe. And Samuel said to him, the Lord has torn the kingdom of Israel from you today and has given it to someone else, one who is better than you. And he who is the glory of Israel will not lie, nor will he change his mind, for he is not human that he should change his mind. So this is where, when I was reading it, I was like, oh my God, I had to read it again, because it's like, you don't know what God is working on your behalf right now. If you don't know who David is, y'all, in case y'all ain't familiar with the story, basically the person that Samuel is saying that God has given this to someone else is actually David. And David is a shepherd. He tends the flock in the field of his father's house. He's rejected by his brothers, rejected by his father. He's just out in the field. And, that whole, listen, it's good. Y'all have to read 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel. It's very good. Very, very good. But basically, David don't even know nothing about this. David is not even mentioned here. I just know because I've read this chapter before. So I know I've read these books before, y'all. So I know that David is the one that he chose. But the point of what I want to say is, Saul was the people's choice, and God honored their request, but Saul kept being disobedient to the Lord's command. So at the last and final time that Saul disobeyed him, he finally said, I'm done. I'm done with you. Like, he took it away from him. Like, yeah, you can continue to have the king title or whatever, but I'm leaving you. Like, the victories and all that stuff that God was with him with so he can win, I ain't with you no more. Like, you got this in your own strength. Do what you do. I'm done with you. That type of thing. So it's like, you have no clue what God is working on your behalf. David has no clue. Like, at this moment in time, I was just picturing it. I'm just like, wow, like, as this conversation was going, like, I'm picturing Samuel pleading with Saul, like, please, like, I know I sinned, but please, like, give me another chance. And then Samuel's like, no, like, that's just what the Lord said. That's it, y'all. And I'm just paraphrasing because I don't want to keep reading directly, but I'm just saying this is what happened. And then as Samuel was leaving, Saul tried to hold him back and tore the rim of his robe. And Samuel turned around and said, the Lord has torn the kingdom of Israel from you today and has given it to someone else, one who is better than you. So in this moment, y'all, in real life, in this moment, imagine what David's doing. David's off in his land somewhere, off at his house somewhere, out in the back, protecting the sheep, because that's what David did. He protected the sheep from the wild animals and stuff like that. And his family just rejected him. So he's just somewhere else. He don't know Samuel. He don't know Saul. He don't know what's going on. But he don't know that in the background, that spiritually God has already chosen him. So y'all, do not give up. If you are in a position where you feel like David was just living his regular life, tending to the sheep in the field, out in the back, away from his family, like minding his own business, he has no clue that he is being promoted. So please do not give up. If you feel like there is nothing happening to you, if it feels like the person that is on top right now is always going to be on top, you have no clue what is going on. Like, you have no clue that Saul has been disobeying God. So God is about to take that position away from them and give it to you. So please keep being obedient to what God is telling you to do. Be patient in the waiting and trust the Lord. And also just remember, it's not always what it appears to be, because on the outside looking in, the people, they probably thought Saul was all that in the bag of chips. They didn't know he kept disobeying what God actually told him to do. And there were moments where a few of them may have knew, but you have to read the chapter to get that information. I didn't want to make this long, y'all. I just felt the need to record this and just say, to give somebody an encouraging word. Like, you have no clue, because in that moment that Saul was stripped from his status, and like, God is like, okay, I'm done with you. I'm going after somebody that's after my own heart. I have chosen someone else. You don't know what God is doing. Like, in this very moment that I'm speaking, in this very moment right now, you have no clue that you may be being promoted right now. Right now, you may be being promoted by God in the spirit world, spiritually, that you may be promoted and you have no clue. So just stick with it. Stay focused. Be obedient to God, and just continue to seek him and trust him in the process. Trust him in the waiting. All right, y'all. Bye.